back to my channel. If this is your first time here, hello, my name is Nika. Thank you so much for stopping in. So today let's talk about their story is not your story. I know a lot of times in life we see social media, we have family members and we see what they've experienced in life. We have friends, we have associates, we have television. There's so many ways to see other people's stories that sometimes we tend to get mixed into that, and we start to put other people's situations and their end results and what they've gone through on ourselves. And it stunts our growth because we're so afraid, oh, I seen my friend go through this, so I don't want to try that. Or, I've heard people even say about even having children. They're like, well, yes, I'm married, but I seen when like my mom or my aunts had started having kids with their husbands, the marriage started to fail. So I don't want to have kids because of that. But again, like I said, sweetheart, their story isn't yours, and it doesn't have to be yours. You have the power to use their story as a way of trying to do something different. God allows us to see things and hear things so that not so we can get afraid, not so we can fear, not so we can say, you know what, I'm not going to do that. Of course, if it's something like somebody goes to jail or something like that, then yeah, he's just saying like, don't do this because this can be the consequence. But if it's something that just scares you, watching movies and watching like investigative channels. I'm kind of obsessed with watching true crime and all that kind of stuff. But it does, like when I sit and I think about it, it does hinder me from wanting to be in a healthy relationship. It's keeping me from what God has for me because I'm always so paranoid and always so worried and nervous that, oh my gosh, like this girl was with this man or this man was with this girl for X amount of time. They seem like they were in love, and as soon as things go south or one of the people want to step out and be with somebody else, they'll take the life of that person just to get out of the relationship or to get the money and still move on with their lives. And it does stunt you if you let it. If you sit back and say, like, this could be my story, and you keep feeding your mind that, guess what? You're not going to ever take chances because you're so worried about what somebody else's story was, what you've seen, what you've heard, and you're applying it to your life when God didn't say that. He didn't say that you are to take somebody else's story and never go through it, but say that that's what's going to happen to you. If that makes sense of what I'm trying to say. It just depends on what the circumstances are. Of course, like I said, back to, getting locked up or, possibility of you getting harmed if you are doing something that can threaten that and bring that onto you. But everyday life, you don't want to work at certain jobs because you had a friend that worked there and they said that they hated it. You don't want to, move up the chain because the ex supervisor absolutely hated it. They didn't feel happy in that position. But you don't know. Sometimes God may be showing you what that person went through so then you can apply yourself differently. If you see that maybe that supervisor was taking on too much, they were too focused on just their job and they didn't have no outlet, then maybe God's showing that to you, not so that you can say, I don't ever want to be a supervisor, but because you can say, okay, this is what that supervisor brought to the table. I have this skill. This is what that supervisor did in their free time from what you know, and kind of how they handled it. Sometimes God moves people out the way just so that you can have that spot. So don't ever just take on somebody else's situation, somebody else's story, somebody else's journey as your own, because it doesn't have to be yours. Sometimes, like I said, God is just showing you just as a preview of, okay, this is how this person handled it, or this is what they went through, or sometimes he's just trying to get them out the way for you. You just never know. I just want us to get to that point where we stop fearing life just because of what we see other people go through or what we hear other people go through. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those that I have struggled, like I said, with crime TV. I watch that a lot, and it gets into my subconscious, and then I'm paranoid of everybody. Like, as much as I want love, I don't want it at the same time because I don't trust anybody because of that. And then also seeing, what family members of mine have gone through as far as marriages and how they didn't work, and having friends that went through divorces. It's discouraging to me because I take that story on as my own, and I start to feel like, okay, that can happen. And sometimes when I think about it, sometimes I'll start saying like, oh, this happened to me and this happened to me. And I'm like, wait, that didn't happen to me. Like, calm down. That didn't happen to you. That's just what your friends went through at one point, or what you seen your family member, your mom go through. And you're saying it happened to you because you're taking on that story. And I can't stress it enough. Like, we cannot do that. Whatever's meant to happen to you is going to happen to you regardless. So you might as well take chances in life. You might as well. You can't avoid whatever is written for your journey, for your life story. You can't avoid it. But you can't be miserable trying to live it because you're always, under the impression that something bad is going to happen, when at the end of your chapter, something amazing can happen. But if you're thinking about it in advance, of course your mind is saying, no, I don't want to go through that. That's too much drama. That's scary. I don't want to put myself in position. I don't want to quit my job and go, working for myself, because this can happen, that can happen. I could be poor. But if God is telling you to do something, don't worry about everybody else's story. If it's on your heart, if you feel like that is something that you're being called to do, then you don't need to worry about how it's going to work out. Because God works in so many mysterious ways. Like, he's working in my life. Like, I sometimes just laugh because that's just how amazing he is. I look over my life and I see the things that's happening. I'm like, okay, God, you got me. I see exactly what it is. I see now what you were trying to tell me to do. Or I see now why you brought me to this place. But if I would have just stood in fear, if I would have just wondered, if Billy and Sally's and Erica's and Monica and whoever life story is going to be mine, then I would have never been in a position where he needed me to be, so then he can start guiding my life. Does that make sense? We just have to get out of focusing so much on other people's business and mind our own business. Yes, it's scary. Yes, these are possible things that could happen. But if it's meant to happen, it's going to happen regardless of if you open yourself up to try to do it or if you don't. It just may happen a different way, but the same end result is going to happen. You can't avoid it. So live your life. Live your life. Don't live your mama's life, your daddy's life, your aunties, uncles, grandparents, cousins, your children's lives. Live your life. Because at the end of the day, you have to answer for your life, and you only have your one life to live. So take this time to really think about, what are you applying to your life that isn't yours? What are you taking on from somebody else's situation that doesn't belong on your plate? What are you trying to feed yourself that God didn't say that was your story? What are you doing that's stunting you from making the moves in life that you need to move? Whatever it is. What are you doing? What are you telling yourself? What stories of someone else's are you reminding yourself of that's causing you to say, I don't want to do that because X, Y, and Z could happen to me? Think about that, and then go to God and pray about it. Go to your higher up, your higher power, and pray about it. Whatever you do, journal about it. Get it out of you. So then you can start working on that. So then you can be delivered from that. And live your life for you. But that's all I got to say today, y'all. You let me know what your thoughts are. Of course, we'll keep the conversation going if you leave your comments. I just ask that you're polite and courteous in the comment box, because somebody like myself is reading your comments, and we're not here to feel unsafe, to be able to speak what's going on in our lives. We're not here to feel judged, and we're not here to argue. We're just here to give each other's different perspectives and ways to think of things, and to show some love, and to show one another that we are not alone. Go ahead and drop your comments. We'll keep the conversation going, and we will talk next time. Bye.